Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I was sitting at the kitchen table one Saturday morning, reviewing our wedding paperwork. I like to keep things in order, so I was cross-checking invoices against the account we had opened for wedding expenses. That account was supposed to keep everything simple. I had put in $18,000. Brianna promised she would add her share once her business bonus arrived. As I flipped through the papers, something felt off. Catering deposit, $3,500, didn't show up in the joint account. Same with the venue charge and the photographer. Every large expense was tied to her personal credit card. "Brianna," I said, looking up as she scrolled through her phone on the couch, "why are all the deposits going on your card? We set up the joint account for this." She didn't even glance at me. "It's easier to track this way." "Easier how?" "That's exactly why we have the fund." She sighed like I was a child. "Don't worry about it, Gerald. I'm handling it. I want to understand what's happening with our money." Her eyes finally lifted, that look I'd seen before when she felt cornered. "God, do you have to question everything? You act like I don't know what I'm doing. It'll all work out once my bonus clears." "You've been saying that for months," I said evenly. "I'm just asking for transparency." She stood, crossing her arms, posture sharp. "What are you implying?" "Nothing. I just want to see where the deposits are landing. That's all." Her lips curled into a smirk that didn't reach her eyes. She stepped closer. "Maybe I don't trust you not to waste it on another toy computer. You did that once, remember? One PC, 3 years ago," I said. "And that was my money." Brianna scoffed. "Exactly. And yet you still act like I can't handle finances. Do you know how exhausting it is to have every decision second-guessed? I'm the one organizing the vendors, calling the shots, and keeping everything on track. You should be thanking me, not interrogating me." "I'm asking for clarity," I said evenly. She stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "No, Gerald, you want control. That's what this is really about. You don't trust me, and instead of admitting it, you hide behind your spreadsheets and questions." She let the pause stretch, then leaned in, voice low, almost triumphant. "You know what, Gerald? You're replaceable. Never forget that. I could have someone better tomorrow if I wanted. Someone who doesn't question me like a child every time I make a decision." I sat back, steady. I didn't argue, didn't defend. I just let the words hang there. "Then why marry me?" I asked calmly. "Because I chose you," she said, "and you should be grateful for that." I didn't answer. I just wrote down 3 vendor names on my notepad. Something told me I was going to need them later. That night, after Brianna left to meet her friends for drinks, I sat down with my laptop and the iPad we sometimes shared. She never thought I paid attention to the small details. She wasn't wrong. I usually didn't. But after what she said that morning, I decided to look deeper. The joint wedding fund balance hit me first, $412. From nearly $18,000 down to $400. I stared at the number, then pulled up the statement. Withdrawals lined up with dates I recognized, not for vendors, but for her trips. 2 weeks earlier, she'd been in Arizona at a desert resort. Business retreat, she called it. The withdrawal? $5,000. Before that, a weekend at the coast with her friends. She'd posted the ocean view on Instagram, captioned, "Self-care is an investment." That was another $4,000 gone. And before that, charges from luxury boutiques, cosmetics counters, and something called Vision Branding Solutions. None of it connected to the wedding. I opened Alyssa Reed's profile, Brianna's cousin, the one who always overshared online. Alyssa had tagged Brianna at a brand launch party 2 weeks back. Same date as a $1,200 debit from our fund. Brianna wasn't saving for our wedding. She was financing her image. I leaned back in the chair, controlled my breathing. It wasn't anger, not even shock, just clarity. Every deposit she told me was on her card wasn't true. She had drained our savings into her personal lifestyle. I checked the contracts we had printed. Venue, catering, photography, all signed by Brianna. The deposits weren't taken from the joint fund at all. Every charge had been run through her personal card. She had insisted on handling everything, which now meant all the liability sat with her. I closed the iPad, wrote another note beside the vendor names I had jotted down that morning. The picture was complete. She thought I was replaceable. Good. That meant I could replace myself on my own terms. The next morning, I started making calls. Not frantic, not emotional, just precise. First was the venue. I explained calmly to the coordinator that I needed to remove myself from the contract. She hesitated. "But it's a wedding, sir. Are you saying you don't want to be listed as the groom anymore?" "Correct," I said. "Leave everything else as it is. She can replace me if she wants." The silence on her end lasted long enough to tell me she'd never heard that before, but she noted it down. Contract remained hers alone. Next was catering. Same story. I wasn't liable. Same with photography and DJ. Every agreement was tied to Brianna's card, her signature. My name wasn't anywhere. By the time I finished, I felt lighter. Then I called Emma Howard, our landlord. The lease was due for renewal in 6 weeks. "Emma," I said, "I'm giving you notice now. I won't be renewing." "What about Brianna?" she asked. "She can apply on her own if she wants." Emma chuckled. "Based on her income, she won't qualify. You're the one who carries the numbers." "I know," I said. "That's not my concern anymore." When I hung up, I opened my bank app. Salary rerouted to a new account. Auto payments canceled, her phone, her gym membership, her car insurance, all in my name. I made a list with dates, utilities, streaming services, and every bill she leaned on me to cover. One by one, I'd cut them off. No confrontations, no shouting matches. Just a clean break, measured and orderly. I had already lined up a short-term rental near the office. Nothing fancy, just a furnished place I could use until I found something permanent. The point was, I wasn't tying myself to that apartment, or to Brianna, any longer. That night, when Brianna walked in, bags from a shopping trip swinging at her side, she smiled and said, "You'll never guess the deal I found today." I nodded, said nothing. Because I already knew the real one. I was done funding her life. She just didn't know it yet. By the third day, Brianna noticed the shift. The first sign was her gym membership getting declined. Then her phone carrier sent a payment alert. She came storming into the living room where I was working on my laptop. "Gerald, what the hell is going on? My payments aren't going through." I looked up, calm. "I canceled the auto pay. Those were never my bills." Her eyes widened. "Excuse me? You're just going to cut me off without warning?" "They're your expenses, Brianna. Handle them yourself." She paced, running a hand through her hair. "You're punishing me because you don't trust me. Is that it? You think I'm hiding something?" I closed the laptop. "I don't think. I know. I saw the withdrawals. The trips, the party, the shopping. Our wedding savings are gone." Her jaw tightened. "You went through my account?" "Our account," I corrected. "The one you drained." For a moment, she looked like she'd crack. Then the mask slipped back on. "I elevated you, Gerald. When I met you, you were just a boring guy with a steady job and no vision. I gave you style, confidence, and status. And now you want to act like I'm the villain?" I kept my tone even. "Show me your statements, then. Prove I'm wrong." She laughed, a sharp, empty laugh. "You want to audit your fiancé? That's pathetic. You should be grateful I chose you." "Grateful?" I said. "For being lied to? For watching my money disappear?" Her voice rose. "You are so paranoid. This is why I don't share everything with you. You twist it into accusations." I stood, walked to the hallway closet, and pulled out a folder. Receipts, credit card statements. I placed them on the table. "These don't lie. Neither does Alyssa's Instagram. You spent it all." She froze, then grabbed her purse. "I'm staying with my friend Melissa tonight. When you're ready to apologize for questioning me, call." At the door, she spun back, fire in her eyes. "Remember, Gerald, you're replaceable." "I'm not." The door slammed. I sat back down. Her words didn't sting anymore. They were just confirmation that I was on the right track. After she walked out that night, the silence in the apartment felt different. Not heavy, liberating. I stayed focused, marking off bills as their cutoff dates approached. By the following week, the utilities and her car insurance were no longer my responsibility. That's when the scramble began. Brianna went on a posting spree. Selfies with long captions about independence and growth. When people dim your shine, remember, queens don't beg, they replace. It was her way of announcing the search for a new sponsor. The first candidate was Leonard Pierce, an old friend of hers who worked in PR. She posted dinner pictures with champagne flutes and tagged the restaurant. My friend Thomas, who happened to know Leonard, texted me, "Isn't that your fiancé with Pierce? The guy's drowning in debt. His firm cut his hours. He's on the verge of bankruptcy." So much for her upgrade. A week later came Eli Harris. She gushed about his real estate empire, but a quick check showed he hadn't closed a deal in over a year. The so-called empire was a string of empty lots and half-finished flips. Each time she posted a new date, the comments thinned, the likes dropped, and the bills stacked up. The rent notice arrived. With me off the lease renewal, she didn't qualify on her own income. The vendors wouldn't refund her deposits either. By the end of the month, she called. Her voice was shaky. "Gerald, I need your help. Just a bridge. A loan. I'll pay you back once my business takes off." I kept my voice steady. "With what? You have no clients. You drained the wedding account. You lied. I'm not financing another illusion. You can't just abandon me," she snapped. "I didn't," I said. "I just removed myself from being used." She went quiet. I could hear her breathing on the line before she whispered, "You'll regret this." I hung up, calm, certain. The date circled on our old calendar came around sooner than I expected. What should have been our wedding day turned into something else entirely. I heard about it first from Alyssa, who texted me mid-morning. "You need to see what Brianna's doing at your wedding venue." Curious, I opened the screenshots she sent. Brianna was at the conservatory, dressed head to toe in white, standing under the floral arch we'd chosen months earlier. Her caption read, "Relaunching my brand, because commitment starts with yourself." She'd turned our canceled wedding into a marketing stunt. Photos of her posing with a bouquet, slow-motion clips of her walking alone. To her, it was content. But reality didn't match the act. I got another message from Alyssa 15 minutes later. They just asked her for the balance. She thought the deposit covered everything. They're refusing to continue. Turns out she hadn't paid the remainder of the venue cost. The photographer she'd hired refused to keep shooting without full payment either. Someone in the comments exposed the deal, posting, "She promised me exposure instead of money. Never again." While Brianna was busy trying to convince the world she was thriving, I was across town at a sports bar. My coworker Andrew Bell and I had grabbed a table for the big game. My phone buzzed then. "Unknown number." I answered. "This was supposed to be our day," Brianna's voice said, tight with anger. "I know," I said. "Don't you feel anything seeing me here, in our venue?" "No, Brianna, your venue, your debt," I said flatly. "You'll regret this, Gerald. When you're old and alone, you'll remember I was the one who chose you." I hung up before she could say more. Relief had never tasted cleaner. 2 months later, life felt steady again. I was in my new apartment. No unnecessary decor, no bills with someone else's name attached, no constant drain on my bank account. Quiet, manageable, and honest. One Saturday, I stopped at a cafe near the office. I was halfway through my coffee when I heard her voice. I looked up. Brianna walked in with a man I didn't recognize. Mid-30s, sharp suit, eyes darting to the menu prices like he was calculating each dollar. She spotted me immediately. Froze. For a second, I thought she might turn and leave, but instead, she put on a smile and walked over, tugging the man by the arm. "Gerald," she said, voice too sweet. "This is Matthew, my business partner. We're expanding my company. Things are really taking off." I nodded. "Good for you." Her partner gave me a polite handshake, but his eyes told me he wasn't buying a word of it. She was selling the same story she always did. Big dreams, no foundation. "I hope you're well," she added, tilting her head like she wanted to see if I'd flinch. "I am," I said simply. "Take care, Brianna." That evening, Alyssa texted again. She's back at her parents' place. Still posting about being a CEO, but everyone knows it's smoke. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because in the end, her words circled back. "You're replaceable. Never forget that." She was right about one thing. Someone was replaceable. But it wasn't me. I replaced my role in her life with nothing. And she discovered that without me, nothing was exactly what she had. The best gift she ever gave me wasn't her love or the promise of marriage. It was the reminder that self-respect is non-negotiable. She said I was replaceable. I remembered, and I left her to prove it. Thank you for watching.